Oh no, there's two more. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, about 7. There's 7.
Can you imagine pumpkin?
Oh yeah.
Focus.
Especially because the sound is fluttering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.
Yeah, right. Well, you have a good evening again.
I can do some tricks.
A good weekend, and I'll be looking for you Monday, and we got... Oh, that's right, weekend's coming up. We got 4 football games this weekend. Should be getting tougher.
So the birds you just saw were at the apartment complex. They had this big bird cage in there, like 5 birds flying around. So as my grandmother was talking to the guy at the desk, we looked at that. Went to the house, picked up the Genesis, went down there, picked up her, went to Macaroni Grill for dinner. We were there a couple weeks ago. It was good, so we went back. Same experience. Did that, went back to her apartment, hung out there for an hour, hour and a half, spent some time with her. Came back here, watched Cavaliers beat the Houston Rockets up by 21 points at one point. It was a really good game for Cleveland. Before that today, Joe picked me up at 1. We went to lunch at Panera in Hudson. Popped into Lyric. He wanted to see the motor with the heads off. That didn't happen for a good reason. It's already gone. They've already sent it to the machine shop as of today, Friday. So a couple weeks it'll be back with a polished crankshaft, new rod bearings, main bearings, upper bearings. Everything should be cleaned. I don't know how much work they're doing with the heads aside from cleaning, checking valves, valve seals. I don't know if they're going to do... I don't know if the camshafts are probably in there. So I'm not totally sure what kind of bearings, chains, what's being replaced with the cams. But anyways, they had the oil pump out today, and they had the upper oil pan in there today. I didn't film because there were a couple detailing guys, and they were just talking the whole time. This guy came in that knew me from YouTube, so I talked to him. He has that black M-Tech 540 that I film all the time. I had met him before, but we talked in greater depth of car stuff this time for a while. We were probably there an hour. But anyways, I took some pictures that I'm going to show you. So this is the oil pump. Oil pump's got this chain on it. I looked up the part number. It's actually the same part number as the upper timing chains that go between the dual overhead cams on each block, on each bank. So I don't know if I should or I'm going to replace the chain. Probably doesn't need to be replaced, but it would certainly be easy and very inexpensive to do right now, so maybe we will. The thing that I do want to replace is difficult to see. It's this black part right here. Pulled it up on Real OEM. Here's the explosion of the oil pump and pump drive. It's part number 8. Focus. It's right there. That is the timing, or that is the tensioner for the oil pump chain. According to this, it's a $10 part. ECS only sells them in a pack of 5 for $80. You can get it from the dealer for, it's like $18 or $16 or something. Why not? New chain tensioner for the oil pump. Might do the chain. I mean, otherwise it's a sprocket, bolts. I'm not sure what 15 is. 15 is an oil pipe that won't need to be replaced. The oil pump itself is like $2,000, so that is not going to be replaced. I have only heard of the oil pumps failing if the oil pump ingests broken pieces of timing chain guides, which will not be the case, seeing that I'll have new timing chain guides. And the ones I took out, they said were in great shape. They didn't need to be replaced, but we certainly are since they're coming out. So that's the first picture. We'll move on to a different view of the pump, maybe a better view of the tensioner right there. All of this is going to be cleaned. New gaskets, of course, with everything. Different angle. I assume that's the bottom where it sits down and sucks up the oil. And since it's a scavenge pump, I think that's called dry sump lubrication, it can, if you go around corners real hard, it won't run dry as oil sloshes around in the pan. It was a very advanced technology for 2000, which is probably why it's so expensive. So here's the upper oil pan, the part that the drain bolt, it's upside down. Picture you're laying under the car looking up at it. The lower oil pan would sit here, and then the bolt is somewhere in the middle. So that's what that looks like. Oil was pretty dirty, probably been several thousand miles since being changed, but no pieces of anything in there, so that is good news. I didn't pull the filter and look at it. I wouldn't expect anything though, and it doesn't much matter. A couple more gaskets. What are we even looking at here? I'm not even sure what we're looking at. There's the ignition coils. Anyways, cool stuff as always. So I guess we're going to be adding a couple parts, and I expect that through the process of, hey, we found this, it's a cheap part, it makes sense to replace it, can we do it? And I'm going to give them approval for stuff like that. We'll get them ordered in. So block and head's coming back in a couple weeks. The Vanos goes out Monday. Read a couple reviews on Dr. Vanos. I have nothing to worry about there. They're going to do the solenoids on both banks and the splines that drive each camshaft on each bank. They just remachine the splines so they don't rattle. I didn't hear much rattling when I heard that engine run, but while they're out, while it's apart, it makes sense to do it. Plus, I do want this thing to be pretty quiet. I'm sure it'll have crazy lifter tick as it starts, as they're hydraulic lifters that have been sitting now for many, many months. It'll probably tick and rattle for a little bit as the oil pressure warms up and it breaks in for the first half hour it runs maybe. And then once it's run and revved and pushed a little bit, that'll be hard to do with a new clutch. I have to shift the first full tank of fuel under, I think, 3,000 RPM to mate the clutch and flywheel. Whatever transmission, do all that stuff. What a process though. But I'm really excited to see everything come back from the machine shop. Should look pretty much new. I mean, they're going to clean everything. The pistons will be cleaned. New valve seals. It's very exciting. I can't wait to see it all apart and then go back together gradually. And it shouldn't take long to put all this stuff back together when they get it. I was happy to see they had pieces of cardboard with, fairly rudimentary nonetheless, drawn out. They drew out the forms of what they've taken off and then punched holes where the bolts are and put those bolts in the holes. And you turn the thing upside down and you look at it, every single bolt is a different length, different threads, different heads, everything's different. So they're going to be able to put it back together very well. So that's the update with that. Otherwise, tomorrow's Saturday. I don't really have anything going on this weekend. It's going to get cold again Sunday. Today was like 50, not bad at all. Probably do some work around the house, and then tomorrow night hang out with Alex or Razvan or Kennan's in Denver, Colorado skiing, actually, Breckenridge. So won't see him, but he's having more fun than we are here. It's 2:30. I'm up past my bedtime, and I'm going to bed. So I'll talk to you guys on Saturday. I hope you guys had a great week. Good night.